Thanks to everyone for letting me have a break from the videos last week. And this week we'll follow Steve and Robin as they head out west for some adventuring while Alix holds down the fort in the boathouse.
This is my kit for going to the mountains. So I got everything that I need here to go do a bunch of adventure trad climbing and a bunch of really wild sport climbing. That is the plan. And here we have the rack. So nuts or stoppers, a whole bunch of cams, some hexes, some tri-cams. There's we could take this tomorrow and go up El Capitan if we wanted to. I own an insane amount of climbing gear. So we're gonna take a good chunk of it, but some of that's definitely gonna stay home. Got the helmet, safety first. We got some really thin ropes. Those are twin ropes for the alpine mountain climbing, 70-meter rope for the sport climbing, a quiver of shoes, chalk bag. I'm gonna pack all this stuff up and I'm gonna head over to my partner for this adventurous place. And we're gonna go do a full-blown gear pack tonight, and we're gonna go through their stuff, we're gonna go through my stuff, we're gonna go through the rack, decide what we wanna bring, what we wanna take. Do we wanna take all the ropes? Just kind of get things whittled down to the final kit, get those packed, get those bags weighed, and tomorrow we fly out of here. So I'm pretty psyched. It's been a long time since I've had a big adventure like this, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Your safety is important to us. Please pause for a moment to give your attention to the flight attendants. Carry-on items should be stowed either overhead or under the seat.
Tried. That was cool.
I wonder if they got like a kill or something. They're very excited. Wow, look at these mountains.
So day one of adventuring. We went up and checked out a visitor center, and there was a lady going around checking on parking. We asked her for beta. She didn't really have any, but she knew a guy who had done a ton of hiking on the ridge. We had a great phone call with him. So now we're gonna hike up here and see if we can find the access point to the ridge, go a little farther down, figure out where we can put the cache, and hopefully in a couple days, we're gonna start traversing that ridgeline you see behind us. I don't know how it's gonna go. Nobody has much information. It's basically once we're on the ridge, head north.
Good luck.
Good luck. See what happens. Might be 5'6", might be 5'10". Nobody really knows. Kind of depends where you go. Lots of cacti, lots of rattlesnakes. Should be fun.
Can't wait.
So let's go see what we can find. So we're hiking in here to an old mine, and we just came across this. So they always say X marks the spot. What's under there? Treasure? Dead miner? We don't know. We're not gonna find out. I'm gonna keep heading up to the ridge. So we just came from way down there, hiked up, and right now we're scouting. So we think this is where we're gonna come up tomorrow night and bivouac. We'll start up at that peak there and head out across the ridge. It should take us a few days to get across the ridge. Tomorrow morning we're gonna go cache some water and some food farther down so we don't have to carry as much. But holy smokes, is it beautiful.
We were really looking forward to getting these knees finished up and sealed and varnished, and these look much better than we even anticipated. We were just so happy with how they look. So I'm really excited to start working on putting them in the boat. So at this point, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna get them in there, make sure they still fit, which they should. And then we gotta sink some bolts through here, through the frames, into the holes that I drilled. The only problem is that right now all we got for carriage bolts are these guys, which are 10-inchers, and they just barely make it through the knee, so let alone the frame and the shelf and all that kind of stuff. So these are not long enough, so I am gonna have to make us some fin head bolts out of the rod that we have. So we've got a blank rod that I'm gonna cut to length, and then make a fin head on one side, which is going to sink into the frames and be recessed in there so that we can plank over it. And then that will fit through there, and I can make it the length that I need and thread the end. So just like we made the fin head bolts for the backbone assembly, I'm gonna do more or less the same thing with these guys on a little bit smaller scale. We were trying to make 1-inch ones. This is only 3/8, so that should be much easier. So now that I've got the bolts made, it's time to pound them in, but not before I countersink over here. So I have to countersink into these frames here because the planking is gonna go over this. So the head of the bolt can't stick out past the edge of the frame here. So I'm gonna countersink them just enough to get the heads underneath there, and then I will put a nut on the other end, suck these guys in, and those will be good. Once this is done, I can start working on the lodging knees. So let's get this over with and start fitting some wood. So here we go. The knees both have 2 bolts in them, so they're held in place. They're pretty secure right now already. They are not going anywhere. So there's one more screw that's missing that will be going right down in here to lock in that bottom edge. It may or may not be where that dowel is. Gotta figure out the best spot for it. So what I can do now is start working on the lodging knees. So the lodging knees are gonna go right in here. And so once we have these guys in, I can start to tag these guys into the short beam that's sitting here. So, since I gotta do all that woodwork to get those shaped, I'm gonna take a couple minutes now and go sharpen my tools, and that will mean that it will make that process just that much easier. So I'm gonna throw on some tunes, I'm gonna go back to the workbench over there. I've got my water stones that have been soaking for most of the day, so they should be perfectly well soaked up and ready to go, and I'm going to take just a couple more minutes to sharpen those up before I get back into here.
So we are on day 2, and we are hiking up to stash some water and some food, and we just found a hole in the ground. So I think this is an old mine. It doesn't go super far. This seems to be the end of it.
I bet this wood is doing a lot to hold.
You know what?
To hold this up.
It very well might be. It's there for a reason.
I want magical powers. You know how in like witch movies they'll put their hand on something and they'll be flooded with all the memories of that? I want that. I want to know
like
the
what
stories.
happened here?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we're starting to get to like semi-off-trail scrambly here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The desert plants here are so friendly. Just giant thorns everywhere.
And they love me so much.
Yeah, Robin keeps kicking them for some reason. I don't understand why.
I just like the pain of pulling 2-inch barbs out of my shins.
Yesterday we found where we were looking for pretty easy. Everyone told us that it was going to kind of be hard to follow. It really wasn't all that bad. Today, on the other hand, was another story. So we went way up there to go stick a cache, and we couldn't find the ravine, the valley that we wanted. We went through 3 different ones, so like up and then back down and around and up, and finally we just decided to bail and come down because we weren't quite sure where we were. We just got too close to the wall, and we were like losing perspective exactly where we needed to be. We needed to be way farther south than we were. But on our descent here, we decided to check out this old mine. It's got a pretty cool shaft, so let's go check that out. A nice chalk stone here. Oh, look at it, they even put some wooden wedges under it. I'm trying to keep it in there. I can't imagine coming in here and carving this out. Holy smokes. Pretty cool. Certainly don't have anything like this back home. So yesterday we went up to try to drop the cache, and we got too close to the wall. Ended up in the wrong canyon. Got a real big slice of humble pie, which happens from time to time. So today we're going up to do a little better recon. And here's some more mine activity. It's crazy. I know you can't see, it's dark down there, but it's deep. Goes way down. Like this huge block that broke off, and it's kind of precariously hanging there. Some spooky stuff. I can't imagine digging these back in the day. Those guys had, I don't know, some serious courage or some serious stupidity. I'm not really sure which. Maybe a healthy dose of both. All right, let's keep going up. This is some nice polished granite, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder what this thing's like when it's raging.
Oh my God.
I get the feeling that there's a lot of water that comes through here.
Imagine the boulders. All those boulders being like pushed through by, wicked powerful current.
Have you ever been near a big river when it's flooding and you can hear the boulders grinding and tumbling?
Unfortunately, I've been too close for comfort.
Oh yeah, in the canyons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff.
It's horrifying. Oh, this is so rad.
Yeah, there's a cave back there. Waiting for a mountain lion to come out and eat us. Whew. Well, one of the nice things about it being this cold out is I bet the rattlesnakes are all tucked down deep and nice and warm.
That'd be nice.
They're not, I don't think they're going to be out and about in this weather. I'm all up for a solid adventure, but getting bit by a rattlesnake is not high on my list of things to do.
No, and I've looked into rattlesnake bite first aid.
Not much you can do. No.
It's just get to a hospital.
Yeah. I don't know, it kind of looks like people have gone up there. would you classify this as? Easy third class?
Easy third. I am enjoying this way too much. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
There's no such thing as too much fun.
How
But
did I get
being too lucky, car too fast, no matter what they say I've done, I ain't never had too much fun.
Looks like that?
Yeah, these bad mammoth jammas are everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, they bite. I had one stuck in my ankle, and I pulled it out and got it stuck in my thumb. Robin had to pull it out with pliers. Super fun! Wow. So we keep talking about classes, and for those that don't know, first class is basically a paved road. Second class is essentially what you think of as a hiking trail. And the best way I've ever heard it described is third class you can do with a cup of coffee in your hand, and you're just gonna have to set it down from time to time. Fourth class, you do not be able to do it with a cup of coffee in your hand, and if you fall, there's relatively high consequences. And then fifth class is honest to God climbing, and you probably should have a rope. So yesterday we did a bunch of fourth, and maybe even some light fifth.
I think there was some light fifth involved.
Yeah. A fall would have been pretty bad.
There were some moves.
But if you want to come up in the mountains and get things done, you kind of got to be comfortable doing some fourth and light fifth.
Yeah, I just don't think you come to the Oregon Mountains if you're not comfortable with it.
Yeah. No, this is not a beginner range.
No.
So behind us is the Saddle Canyon, not canyon, but Saddle Valley we were trying to get to, the notch in the ridge. Yesterday we failed miserably. Today proved easier to find, coming from above, got a better view. So now we gotta see if we can make our way down there and then track from there back down to the valley in the truck. And we'll have another piece of this puzzle. It's a pretty broken, crazy range up here. It's quite a puzzle. The first ascensionists were absolutely correct when they said that route finding was going to be one of the biggest challenges. I think if you know your way, it might not be too bad. We don't know our way. It's a bit of an adventure. Whew. Are we having fun yet?
All of the fun.
Believe it or not, we were just up there somewhere, and we made our way down through that notch behind us. It looks pretty heinous and almost impossible from here, but so far it's been like third, fourth class. Not too bad. We haven't had to rope up. And I'm just gonna keep working our way down the canyon here. We are just getting buffeted by the wind. It feels so good! Woo! Cute little guys. Good cactus. So we just came down that massive gully there. An insane amount of bushwhacking. Thorny bushes, cactus, scrub brush, tripping, falling, sliding, but we got through it. We were way back up there in that valley, up in that ravine, and we still have to find our way down this valley, over the ridge, and down to where the car is. But it seems to be opening up a bit more. In the real thick stuff, like all in here, it's really hard going, but there's not really much cactus and thorn stuff. You get out here, it's more open and not as much brushy, but there's a lot more spiky things to contend with. Ouch.
Next week, Steve and Robin wrap up their trip before heading back east to get back to Arabella. There's many adventures like this one on the horizon, but we'll need to build the boat first in order to get there.
I just ate it. Yeah, a boulder just moved on me and I sat down. Thankfully, I did not sit down in a cactus. That's good, because that thing was right there. That would have sucked. Good, yeah.